What's good, everyone? It's your boy Sifu G, the Esoteric Warrior, and we're back with the Tao of Kung Fu podcast with Sifu John Lee. This is part 3, and everyone is enjoying our chats. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and also comment, because the comments interact with us, and we give. And any questions you want to give Sifu John or myself for a podcast, just put them in the comments below. Josan Sifu.
Josan. Thank you for the invite again.
Okay, this one's on fighting in Chinese Kung Fu, the old versus the new. We've all seen the footage of Tai Chi versus the White Crane Master in black and white. We've heard about this. Every Kung Fu style has their own story about our Grandmaster challenged a Western boxer or a Western wrestler. That was the epitome for, I think, Chinese Kung Fu people trying to outdo a Western fighter. What do you think, Sifu John? Has the fighting changed? Obviously, in my eyes, it has.
Oh, it has changed dramatically. But before even going into that, I just want to tell you, my dad was actually, when he went to Hong Kong in the 50s, and he joined the police force, the local police force there. And in the academy, there was a lot of Sikh, Indian, Taiwan, and also a lot of the Westerners, like the English, and I think there was a few Dutch people there as well, and there was Korean as well, believe it or not. But like I said, they used to have an academy there, and they had a boxing ring in there, and they used to go there and to spar and fight, in the ring, and that was the thing they told me. But it also told me it's not always Kung Fu winning these fights. There's wrestlers there that can submit, the Kung Fu people, and there's boxers that punch a crap out of Kung Fu people, and vice versa. So it's not just one way that people think, oh, Chinese Kung Fu is going to beat everything. It's not like that. It's not entirely true. They told me, but when I was young, they talk about that fight. When you're talking about the Back Hop and the Tai Chi, right? And so when I was a kid, we used to listen to my uncles and Kung Fu uncles, and all telling us how great this fight is. Because it was like a charity fight in Macau. So we had this image. Wow, it's gonna be a real good fight. We haven't seen it because it's on this real 40 mil film, and we don't get the chance to see that when we were a kid, But it tells me all of this, my uncle, my father. So anyway, so in our mind that we think, oh, this is great. So 1976, 77, so I was watching a lot of these, TV shows, and they were showing about these in Malaysia, the Hong Kong team go to Malaysia and have this Kung Fu fight in Taiwan, all that. So they were pretty good, kicks and punches, and they weren't wearing gloves. They were just, some was with bare knuckles, and they were wearing headgear either. So it was really good. So we had a taste when I was probably about 15, 16, so wow, this is great, So in my mind, imagining, a decade before these two masters, they were so good in their art, they must be really good fighting, So we're sitting down there, oh wow, and we're just dreaming away, oh, this is really good. Until the 80s came, right? It was 80, 81. And I don't know, I'm a bit old now. I'm sounding an old fart now, because we're talking about Betamax, Betacode, right? These are the video format that was before VHS. It was a lot smaller. They were much better system. So everyone would buy this VCR video tape recorder and put this thing in there. And I went to a restaurant. My dad, Banks had a restaurant, but he also had a friend at a restaurant in Banks called Bamboo Inn. And there was a whole bunch of people there. So tonight we're going to play this fight, In Macau, we got this thing on Betacode, Betamax. So I went there as a 15, 16-year-old, just go in there with my dad, and there's a big screen there, and they put a big screen there, and I said, no, well, this is going to be playing on a Betacode, so what's the big screen for? So they put on a big TV, and we're watching it. I started watching it, I was shocked. See, Gary, I was absolutely shocked. It was just terrible. You know,
Yeah. You
it's just
think
like it's all over the place.
with big names like they supposed to be and masters of an art to fight worse than a schoolyard fight to me. That was
Yeah, when
it was so embarrassing. And you know, we love Kung Fu, we always say that, but when you see such rubbish and bad, just everything was bad footwork, hands were low, one's running around trying to kick him up the ass. They're
yeah,
swinging and falling over. One gets punched in the face and he's, oh, I'm got all blood on me. Oh,
yeah, and then they try to stop the fight, and then trying to make the thing. I mean, in those days, the not too harsh to criticize the two masters. To have to rewrite everything, you know, so they can send to the editor in the newspaper, and so that was my experience looking at this, and I thought I was shocked. My brother was absolutely shocked too, because he was in the boxing, Muhammad Ali and Joe Fraser and all of that.
yeah,
So he
yeah.
saw this as a terrible fight, like a school kid. And that reminded me in my school day in Cleveland Street Boys High School, right? We came to Sydney and went to the roughest high school.
I went to the same high school as you.
Yeah. So I was probably about 5, 6 years before you, right? So I went in there, and we had a bunch of guys from Hong Kong. We just, you know, they were arriving from Hong Kong, and so in high school. So I was from the Gold Coast, so I came down, and you know, and we made friends and all that. And some of them was from, you know, the New Territory, and they were doing Kung Fu as well. But we also had a lot of Korean. The Koreans were, you know, from a student that came and joined in this school, but they were very well, the Korean was a lot taller than the Cantonese, I can assure you that. And they were very strong guys too. And 16, 17, they were really strong. They're all black belt. I just found out they were all black belt when I was in there, and I couldn't believe it. They were doing Taekwondo. And they would finish school and they would go into a gym, and, you know, school gym or photo room, and they would practice it the Taekwondo. And of course, you know, like, in those days, they were trying to pick on nation because they know they know martial arts, so everyone's supposed to pick on them. And the Koreans come out and just knock them with the kicks and all of that. And we got into like a lot of school fights, and they were just like that. The one we're talking about, right? The fight. It was pretty horrendous when you think about it. And then you go to school every day after school. We would go to Prince Albert Park behind the pool there, and we punch each other to crap, you know, like. And the doc and you know, the teacher can't do anything because it's after school, right? You know, and it's like always half an hour, you know, after school time we go there, and you know, but I got to see a lot of fights, definitely. And I've been in the field of them too, and but the Korean definitely was much better because they had training, and then they told me that it was like they had to go to military school for 2 years or something like that. So most of the guy come out, they actually can hit something, kick something, break something. So, but yeah, that was my experience with all that.
Well,
And
the Taekwondo, Hapkido, all the Japanese arts are a military type training, all in
yeah,
lines, and it's non-stop. When I did Hapkido, every lesson, my whole gi, lit pants and top, you could ring it out. And I've never seen one overweight Korean stylist because of the high kicks. It actually strips the weight off you, right? And to me, training like that and being pushed military style will always bring results. Where Kung Fu, if you've got a 4-hour class, you'll do some forms, you sit down, have some tea, talk some rubbish, talk about Ging, and then old stories pop up. And
yeah, I know.
you can get
But
away.
you know, like, I like to give the late Sifu Randy Banner a plug. When I went to Sifu Randy, he actually trained us very, very hard. He pushed us to the limit. There was a lot of cardio. There was a lot of kicking, punching, put up, press up, sit up, all this sort of thing. And I can tell you, I was around 19 or 20. That was the fittest time of my life because I could six pack, everything like that, right? And there's no big tummy or anything like that. You know, all the students were very fit. Even now, Sifu Randy was phenomenal. He can fly up and do a spinning kick and things like that. When I go to the Chinese school, I don't see the same physics. A lot of the guys are teaching us. It seems a bit overweight. They're not as active as them, but they always say that we do DMAT, we do this, we do that. So it kind of make me think about it. But I just want to tell you that Sifu Randy really trained me and really like even my dad said to me when I went there for like 2 years, something with him. I was the fittest I could be. And then, of course, came Mantis training. There was a different type of training. Yes, getting back to all these fights, and you would think that the story you hear is, you sometimes you question it. Is it like that? Like, I heard about Peter used to come and tell me about this story. He said it was a karate guy. I don't know how many Dan. He's very famous, right? He went to Malcolm Su. Good, and he challenged Malcolm Su. And so the story is that I think Malcolm Su drew a circle or something in the room. I think Peter was there and a few other guys actually saw it, right? And this karate guy came from Japan and he wrote a few books already. I forgot his name. It's got a long name. Anyway, they square off and started a fight, and the guy kicked him, and Malcolm moved aside, and he used to box out and broke his ribs, right? And that was it. And so they had to call the ambulance and took him to the hospital. And when he recovered, I think a few months later, he came back with 2 tubs of ice cream. He said, Malcolm still loves ice cream. So he went there to pay his respect. You broke my ribs, you're good, that's your ice cream,
Oh.
And that's one of the story I heard from the old days from Peter when he told me.
I heard, I think you probably have heard this, but I heard Lam Gui versus Ipsoi was a fight back in the day.
Well, yeah. Well, that story got a few versions. I heard from different sources. I heard you hear from the daughter of Ipsoi telling that his father won, and because Lam Gui so well. Then you heard from the dragon people say Lam Gui actually didn't lose at all. He actually, it was like a draw type of thing. Then you hear his story that Lam Gui actually won the fight, But I heard very reliable sources that both hurt themselves really badly, and they had to call the ambulance. Okay, but which story do you believe? I mean, if you say the dragon master lost, then the dragon side get very upset. If you say Ipsoi lost, and the Joe Garfield get very upset.
Well, let's hope it's nothing like the friggin' White Crane versus Tai Chi, because that'd be very disappointing if it was something like that. That's for sure.
Well, like again, I've got a name who's told me all this story, inside story, told me that it went around 5 to 10 minutes around, and you think about this, right? So we got sold on this Chinese martial arts. We shut them down in 3 or 4 seconds, and we demark them, and our tents are deadly. Okay, so if 2 grandmasters or 2 masters fighting, you would think they'll end up in 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds or 4 seconds, as soon as the hand contact, straight away, bang, 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 bang. You hit the guy, and the guy's down, right? And they're so refined in their DMAT and all that, when they hit each other on DMAT pond, on the Kokchi, or on temple, they would just shut them down. But it went on 5 or 10 minutes. Around that, so 7, 8 minutes or something like that. That's what I heard from a few people.
Was Lam Gui would have been a little bit older than Ipsoi.
Oh, much older. Ipsoi was, his peak. So you would think that, when you watch the Wang Feihong movie and Sekin and Fan Hing, they circle around like a few minutes before they get into it, and they hit each other same time. They bounce off and they go circle again.
That kind of reminds me of the rooftop fights you see in Hong Kong. They walk around and they're all strategy, but yeah, it's weird. Kung Fu people are weird.
Well, you know, on the rooftop, I mean, there's some ones, there's some that publicly shown, you know, on YouTube, right? Which is William Chong and a few other guys who, you know, on the rooftop were fighting, and there's some private lead that I saw, right? And they were just pretty simple fight, you know. There was not much technique. You don't see much teeth out. They were just whacking each other, and then someone got tricked, you know. In the Hong Kong, in the rooftop there, it's not flat level, right? They got things sticking out, you know, like a beam or that. Like you walk down to like in Singapore in Balestier Road, you see the roads high and low, and then you go to Guangzhou, you see that all of a sudden it's a big drop and a big step, you know, and you think, shit, you know, you don't want to get drunk in those places, you know, you roll over and you kill yourself. But in Western country, I don't know about America, but I think some America's places like Australia are very level. You've got ramps, you know, so you don't get to trip over. But in the rooftop there's a lot of this cross beam, you know, and then it's very badly finished. The workmanship.
And they
The guy,
I saw them fall over.
someone fall over, right? Bang, and they fall over. And he said, mate, I punched this guy, and this guy's so good that, you know, my see him punch this guy, and he fall 2 meters down that way. But the guy's tripped. You know, it wasn't your hit and he fall down. He just went back and he tripped himself, you know, like I saw a few of this, and I'm thinking, bloody exaggerating this stuff, you know, like, you know, but
For people that have been doing Kung Fu for a long time, it is disappointing when you see those fights, especially we're in a different era, of course, and I think it's changed so much. Well, Western boxing's always been strong since the start of boxing, you know, but the training has developed to much a higher degree that these are professional athletes, super strong, super powerful, knock you out with one punch with gloves on.
yeah.
Break your ribs with gloves on.
Well, the thing is that it's evolved. I mean, boxing in the very early days that used to go like that, and then and now to like short power. And of course they got tears up. What do you mean they don't have tears up? They get too close in the clinch and push your arm down, bang, punch it. Of
Yeah,
course
they got parries and everything.
They got they got things out. They go overhead like that, and they're trying to stop those overhead hit, and it's like goes different angles that they practice. But they also develop. They must watch us a lot of time doing short power punches, right? They must develop that. So it's not as telegraphic as before that you can stop like that. I remember a boxer came to my place, and I got to admit that I got knocked in the eye and gave me a retinal detachment. I went to the hospital and they lost my eye. And the thing is that he was so fast with his punches, and I had an odd day. It's simple. It doesn't matter your Sifu, you know, your direct line, you're the in the shoulder.
Look, fighting, when you fight, no matter what level you're at, sparring or in a competition, you're going to get hit. There's no way around it, right? To think that you're going to be able to block everything and you're never going to get hit, that's a myth, right? And this is
yeah. You're right. You have an odd day, and you know, you be slow, and it got through, like bang, you know. And you know, because it happens so fast. You know, like with any demo compliances, you know what to do. Like my student said, you throw a right, and I'll go like this. You throw a left, I'll go like that. Of course, it's going to work because you already know what's going to happen, right? So you can execute those techniques, and they're always perfect because he gave you a perfect angle to work from, right? But you know, as he moved around for a real spar and real fight, and this guy was coming to get me. Like he had the intention to hurt me, but I had no intention to hurt him. But I know that he told me one week our hand contact, as soon as he hit me, my hand slipped through, and my beauty was at his eye, but it didn't reach his eye. It was like a few millimeters, just brushed his eye, right? and I felt a hit, and I thought, shit, I think I need to go to hospital. I know my eye, you know, I have weak eyes, and if you get a hit, couple hit like that, I had problems. And sure enough, I had a retinal detachment and had to go to surgery, and lost my eye. So I know that it's not a game, you know. When you go out there, you really got to train, you know. It's not a thing that you go there and it's like a demo. It's not, you know. It's ugly, and I got to tell people that you and I want our students to be safe on the street.
We have
because you have
a responsibility.
You know, and we can't teach things that it's not realistic. I mean, if you want to learn the form, I'll teach you the form, no problem. You can teach the form. And there's variation on the form too. Different people teach differently, but that's just the form. But when you want to do science training, you bring it to the next level. Then you got pat, then you got sparring. You know, you try to get the student as close as possible to the real thing. You know, of course, you know, like the real thing. Well, that was back in the days, and then Peter, right? You know, used to take us to across to the milk bar there, and it's a watch. I said, go out there and have a fight. And you know, rest day, and just notorious. You know, look, guys, bikies there, everyone's there, and they're looking for a fight on a Saturday night. You know, that's their fun, right? So it's the same guys out there. Man, you want to have your first fight? Go over there and fight them, you know, and see how good your Tong is. And I remember one of the guys, I don't know, his name is Magic or something like that, the Polish guy. He went there and had a fight with the guy. And he came back to Saul Peter. He said, Sifu, he said, I can't believe it. 2 hands, I knocked the guy down. And then Peter said to him, what do you expect? Like going like a half an hour's Jackie Chan movie or something like that? And so then you get realistic fighting, you know? And everyone's kind of in those days, right? Because of the culture, you get pushed to do that. Even if you don't want to be a fighter, you just want to learn the art, you get pushed to do that. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that went on to school, but it was the thing. And whoever passed those tests had a lot of fighting skill. And there's a lot of things I can tell you about some of my siblings that up to the mischief, you know, in the city. But I'll leave it another time. But yeah, definitely. Even my own student had fights as well. And I'm not very proud of it. But they were picked on, you know. They were down Cronulla, early hours in the morning, and really funny too, because I'm very tall, 6 foot as a Chinese person, or Oriental person. My students, most of them they're not that tall. That's the reason why they come to learn Kung Fu, because they maybe get picked on, you know. They went around the disco down Cronulla. This is about 2000 something, or 2001 or 2. And I didn't know about all of this until a week later. They told me about it. That they were down there with their girlfriend, and then all of a sudden, a 3 Tongan guy came in and roughed them up a little bit, you know. And so and then obviously they told me the story after that, you know. They were in the fight, you know, bare fist, everything like that. And next thing you know, the 3 Tongan was running down the mall, and then got rounded up by the police, everyone, right? And the police asked the Tongans, why you look so scared, you know? You just started a fight with this guy, you know? And the Tongans said they were bashing us. And the police said, what are you talking about? You guys are 6 foot something tall and so big, and those 3 white guys are just so small. How could they bash you up? So the police didn't believe this story. So round everyone up and put in the cop shop there and questioned everyone. And then they let my student go. Obviously, the people saw that, you know, they didn't start the fight. But they came back to me and they said, so please don't mention my name. I didn't teach you that. I didn't want the cops to come and start questioning me, you know. He said, we didn't. We learned it from the Jackie Chan movie or something like that. You know, it's ridiculous. Just to, you know, palm them off. And then I think my student came up to me one day. He goes to me, Sifu John, I want to ask you one question. You actually worked what you teach me, you know, what you taught me. And I said, what, you have doubt about it? I said, well, yeah, first, you know, like, because you made us do so much pad work, so much interaction stuff, and not forms. We just think that you didn't know how to teach us any more stuff. But that's what you know. We don't think you know anymore, you know? I said, no, I know a lot of stuff, but I just didn't want to teach you, because I just want to teach you something that you can defend yourself. isn't that what you come to see me about? And you know, in the 80s, it's really funny too, because in the in the 80s and 90s, and even 2000. Well, when I was in the 80s, right? You know, I'm a musician as well. I used to dye my hair blonde, right? Blonde and streaks and all that. In the 80s, man, I was really fashionable, right? Had longer hair then, you know. And anyway, my student came around 2000. I seen one by one, they dyed their hair black.
I dyed my hair black.
And I said, all of a sudden I looked around, I had around, one time I had about 45, 48 students. And most of them had dyed hair black, and I couldn't work out why. And then I thought, oh, they all wanted to be like Bruce Lee. You know, so I kind of worked it out. Oh, okay, so all the Asian now is having blonde hair and, you know, and brunette, and then all the white guys having black hair. You know, it's just funny to me how the world's, you know, changed. And yeah, so that was the story of my school, and they were good kids. You know, there was one kid came in, and I don't even really want to teach anymore this sort of technique until they really really disciplined about it. He broke someone's arm. Okay, so what I was showing some other student one night and about the breaking hand. You know, you grab the hand, yeah, with the elbow you break. Okay, come down, chalk here, you break. Okay, so I was showing some senior student that, you know, trained with me for a few years, and this kid called Jared, he was an apprentice carpenter. He was only 17 or 18 or something. He came in. But, you know, some people, they can just watch a technique, practice a few times, they can actually pull it off. You know, I didn't think he can pull it off, but, you know, like things like that, he pulled off. And he actually broke someone's arm in a disco. They picked on him or something like that because he talked to one girl, and 3 guys was, you know, got on the dance floor, started punching him. He grabbed one of the guys and broke his hand, broke his arm, was dangling down. They had to switch on all the lights, stop the disco, you know, call security, call the ambulance, you know. And then I didn't know about this, and then I didn't see this kid for a week. And then he came in one day, he came in and gave me my t-shirt bag, the sash. He said, "Sifu, I'm not learning this." I said, "Why?" He said, "Too dangerous." He said, "I came in here to learn Kung Fu to get healthy and, you know, have some self-defense capacity, but you taught me something that could break someone's arm." Well, I didn't teach you that directly. You were just in the class, you know.
That was self-defense. You know,
that was self-defense. Yeah,
it's weird, but I think remember in the 70s in Hong Kong, there was a lot of kung fu matches versus Thai boxing and other styles, and even Master Leung Chung said at that time, everyone wanted if you could beat Thai boxers, then you'll get a good name. And I think now the different Chinese fighters are starting to dominate MMA as world champions. So, and also the Sanda fighters now of China are very, very strong compared to 2 years ago, right? So they've upped their game, their training methods, and fighting is a constant development.
Yeah, because when you try something in the ring didn't work, you're gonna adjust the angle, adjust the way you train, and adjust the way you hit.
You got rules too, right? So you can't be stomping on necks and heads on the ground.
Yeah. So, but you train within the framework, okay? So you're not going to go, I'm going, hit the back of the neck. But if you're a real good fighter, you can play it. You can fight in any rules. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Because you're skillful enough to do things. You know, it's not because I wear gloves and I can't penetrate or I can't hit the back of the neck. But you can hit other places to still knock the guy down. So, you know, I mean, he's not getting extra bloody advantage over you. You're pretty even on the same rule. You just have to do your stuff. And he does his stuff. Simple, right? I don't know why people so hung up about it, you know? you know, if you're a good fighter in the ring, you're gonna be a good fighter in the street. If you're a good fighter, you're gonna learn a lot of stuff. You're gonna learn things a lot faster than other people.
And if you can adapt to rules, you can also adapt to no rules on the street, you know.
Exactly. You know, like human beings very smart. You know, can adapt. You know.
I think it's a cop out for a lot of kung fu people. You know, to be honest, when they say, "Oh, I can't use my special techniques because I got gloves on," well, then punch normal people and see if you can knock them out. Like most of them haven't got that knockout power in kung fu.
No, I saw even connecting. They have a problem with it. They can do it statically. Once start moving, and the guy won't move around. He won't give him the angles, and he can't get connection.
And that's not putting down the kung fu styles that also do sparring and sandar class. This is traditional. The traditional arts that don't fucking spar at all.
Yeah, so they're missing that part of it. So you go to the class, you got sold. This is the genuine stuff. It hasn't changed for 200 years. You train this, you're gonna be a Sifu, and you're gonna be really good at this. Okay, you can do all of this stuff like that, and then they go to fight somebody who's a different style. They don't fight the same. Oh, how come it's like that? I can't make connection. Then that's too late because you're in the ring, you're in the cage. You're gonna get owned by this guy, right? So it's like that. So you might even talk about style. I'm not talking about style. Look, it's a local stylist, but a lot of people that from MMA people, they learn a lot of traditional art. They don't tell you. I mean, I got a friend from America came and told me in the part of America there has so many UFC gyms and so many guys who goes and train. They actually train from a very traditional art. They don't tell you about that. So what they do is that they use the art, the way they move, or some techniques, they incorporate into the MMA rules, right? And then they fight with it, and they start to streamline it. But it's actually traditional, techniques. I mean, MMA is really basically from all traditional art, and put them all together, and then you make it your own. Okay. And traditionalists, it's like chop suey, chop suey, they would discount that. But these people that discount it, they never been in the bloody fight in the first place. So why they not putting crap on other people? People just have to go at it. They might lose on the ring. So you survive in our day. So could you imagine you got a platform that you can lose? You're not going to get killed, but you can improve. You can come back and improve, right? It's like, how good is that? Like if you go to the old days, we say, if a guy comes in and challenges us, we break their bloody nose and neck. They won't come back again. The guy that got broken nose and stuff like that, ribs and all that, they be recovering for months and all that. They won't come back to your gun, right? But you won't get that. You won't get that severe injury in the UFC. But when you get hit, oh, geez, I shouldn't do that next time. I should be more alert of this and train differently, when I'm fighting at something different. But you get to fight with different people in the UFC. You see?
It's true. A lot of fighters do have a traditional background, be it karate, taekwondo. There's a lot of good fighters, and then they have to learn a little bit of groundwork, or they'll cross train with some judo, so they got some throws. I mean, it's logical, right? If the style doesn't teach throws in kung fu, and one day you're going to get thrown, you're going to get taken down.
Eric Paulson. I mean, he learned Wing Chun, and he learned Jeet Kune Do and all of that, and incorporating in his sumo wrestling and all that, and become a really awesome fighter, an awesome teacher.
Yeah, he showed a really good clip the other week back or last month with that Kevin Lee guy fighting from the ground using hook sail and from when the person's on top of him, if he's pulled guard and he couldn't even get a punch in. He just knew all the trapping from the ground. And that's smart, right? Because every martial art of Kung Fu, it's all about standing up and Bong Sao, Tan Sao, and they're doing all this.
Yeah.
But Eric Paulson has taken it to another level. He's a genius, dude. Absolute genius.
Okay, I'm probably going to give some tips away how I train some of my students back in the days. You know, when somebody do a close shoot, we're on the guard, right? Most people were trying to cover. I teach them how to do a gaucho or peso, very short peso, and get power hitting the pad. So I'm mounting you as a coach, and I put the pad. You know, you're going to hit those pads. I'm going to move those pads. You're going to hit those pads. So therefore, you're striking even you're down. Now that goes against the traditional rules that you got to be on stance, suck up the testicle, suck up the power, and then hit, right, and get power, right. But you're on the ground, then you've been mounted, and it pretty soon is going to do an arm bar or leg lock on you. You're going to start hitting, right. You got to produce power on your back. Now, most people will punch at that and they can't get power. Okay, but I teach my students get power on the ground. On the ground, you're flat on the ground. You know your back is pressed down. And I remember my brother with Michael Darcy. They were in my place, and the two Michaels. You know, my brother said, "No, you can't submit me on the ground." So. Of course, Michael Darcy won all his fights. I'm going to submit your brother, you know, because he was a very strong competitor. And I saw he pulled Michael's arm out like that, just about to the arm bar. Michael pulled his elbow back in, you know, the tongue one when you do the jump, so pulled it back in, and he pushed and he flipped that bridge over, he pressed onto his face. He's actually choked Michael Darcy with his palm. That's how powerful my brother was, right? And then Michael just tapped like that. He said, "Shit, you know, how you guys got this power on the ground?" I mean, if I tell the traditional Taiwan guy that, you know, so we train like this, he said, "Nah, you got to be on the ground. You got standing on the feet and do this. You can't be on the ground doing this sort of stuff." But we didn't listen to all of that. So we had to adapt. So we adapt different training methods. Like you think about, people say, "Oh, the traditional way, we don't use these sort of jongs," you know. But you look at Malcolm Sue, right? They're jongs, right? They got two poles coming down on the chain, right?
I think we're about to run out of time, so
yeah, sure. Okay.
We'll stop it here, and we'll be back in just a break, everyone.
No worries. No worries.
We'll take off on that. I want to hear more about that, John.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Be back in a second.
Yeah.
All right, we're back with Sifu John Lee on the Tower of Kung Fu podcast. Let's get back to that John you're talking about. Tell us about how it works and that.
Well, I mean, the fundamental of the first techniques I ever learned was the gasao, okay, which is coming out, opening the door, okay. So this is basically the two cylinder type of pole, connect the top and the bottom of the chain. You would just hit that across, and so you hit the across, you cut back, and so the punch comes in like that, you're able to stop it. So the first thing when Peter told me about it is still able to stop it, you know, a hook or something like that, right? But then after that, you can actually use your pack sail to hit this pole, this part, and then to pace out. So you do pack sail, okay, you call it. And then in the middle of it, they would have a iron bag, you know, iron palm to gouge, okay? So very, very basic. And then it eventually got a few more poles, one in the middle, a bit more smaller in front, and then the side. So you got four, and then you got boom, boom, boom. You go in there. It's like you're going into someone's territory or iguana, and you start hitting. You know, so by hitting all the time those poles, your arms get very, very, very strong. You know, and also you can do pok sao as well, because the poles like that, you can actually pok sao onto a pole like that. So a pole like that, you can go pok sao, you can go gak sao. Okay, so it moves, and so it gives you that flexibility, right? Not just standing there like a solid mass. You hit, and then you can hear the sound of the cylinder, boom, 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 the tube, So that's what the Zhong's used for, and you can train various hands. I mean, even you can go outside and do so,
I think the great thing about these arts, bro, are the conditioning of those Zhongs
Yes.
that Western boxers don't have on the forearm. And trained correctly in a fighting context, the soy kill, bin choi, you say, same deal.
Same deal, yeah, it's just different name. It's
different
soy
name.
kill.
I think if connected correctly and aggressively, can take out the boxer's arms.
Exactly.
It needs to be trained to a high level. And like I always tell my guys, any hammer fist, soy kill, or bin choi, there's a circular movement, right?
Yeah.
Compared to a straight line. So you got to have those hammer fists as fast as a jab, a straight line.
Yeah, and that's you're trying to get to that level. You compress it to that level that you can, as fast as a jab, as fast as a cross. But you're bisecting the center lines and you're destroying their bridge. And then your hands are like steel because you train your iron palm, your gaucho, your peso. You're going to get very, very good at it. And then once you do that, then it's about reaction training. That's very important. Once you put, there's certain little attribute that we train to put them all together, and then you will see, wow, after 6 months, they really work, and I know for a fact that they work. If they didn't work, I wouldn't teach them when I was a waste of time. So,
but you've got to also be able to read the jabs, and they're so quick that you haven't got time to even sometimes soy kill. It might be just a parry. And this is where you need, as a counter puncher or counter striker, you need to be that as on top of just smashing bridge. You need to be a counter striker and be on the offensive rather than defensive. Make your offense your defense.
Well, the old days we used to read the shoulder moving and the way they move and boom boom, but you still got to react very quickly. So I tend to use the advantage of the Mathis bridge and not extend all that like a dead bridge. Very 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 flexible, very responsive bridge, but I'm extended. So I will get to his face before he gets to my face. So basically, the pox out would be my first weapon. Packs out or soy kill with my second weapon, like that I use a lot to engage this thing, get in there, boom, 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 slow it down, right? So
I think for the people that watching, these long arm bridge that Sifu John is talking about in Batme, all the Haka arts.
Yes.
With all the principles of what he just said, the methods of conditioning and striking, understanding that your hem fist has to be as fast as a jab and a cross, but it allows us, the practitioners of the Haka arts, to be closer to the opponent's body compared to a guard like this in boxing.
Yeah, because for me, I can't really demonstrate because I've got a student here, but I can you can understand that if we're holding a fist like that, we're punching that, then with this sort of art, we have to move, But if you got your bridge out like that, I've got a buffer zone. So you pass my Yiguan before you can get to me, but from there I'm gonna start closing my door, right? So this was probably the first time when Peter taught me. That gave me a lot of confidence that I'm gonna win any fight that come at me like that with with the punches and all that. Before I couldn't really how to stop it. But at the same time is that you see a lot of Hong Kong people, they're very stiff, their arm, the bridge is very stiff, and they go like that, right? So they're using more muscle than tendon, right? So for them to respond to soy kill, they go jab, boom. He hits a different angle. You cop it, right? Because you're too slow. You're too robotic and you're too stiff and you're too heavy, your arms. A heavy arm who comes in when you need to be heavy. When your arms to be light, fast, you're gonna be fast. When you know how to do shock, you shock. It's a combination of power you play with your body, not just one power. So if you've got ability to produce 3 or 4 different power, different way of moving, then the Tonglong is good. It's practical. It's apply Tonglong. Simple.
Totally agree. I think the bridge for us is so important to get close to your opponent so you can use those phoenix eyes with the whip strikes, and just a phoenix eye like that can just tear the skin. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, well, you know, like just a nick, you know, with you know the phoenix eyes, right? Like it's very dangerous. Okay, so like this, okay, with the Tonglong, right? You train so much with your bridge, right? And the reason why is you're able to, like most people can't put their hands up like that for a long time, but I do that all the time. And it's unique. It's not because I'm holding it up. I have the Ging already. It's been trained. My hands are stand up but very relaxed. It's not like this. Holding like this. I'm gonna get you. You come in the door. I'm not like that. I'm relaxed. You know, I'm very relaxed. Okay, so. When you relax, you're responsive. If you start stiff and start using your muscle and look like that sort of robotic, you're not going to win the fight, because people like Wing Chun, the real good Wing Chun player in those boxes, they will get into your zone, you know. All they have to move to the side and they step in, that's it, you know. So even my Gasao, okay, you know, long time ago, I used to go like a Gasao, you know, and I expected the punch to be here, I'm going to block his punch, block his bridge, and I'm going to start. So you kill, right? But what happens if you fake that one? First one, fake, and I put my hand up there, and I'm not responsive now. I've got no recovery. He faked this one here, and then all of a sudden he comes back here and punches me on the center line. And all I do is put my rear hand here, but I'm too concentrated, sticking my arm out there and being stiff. You don't do that. You know what I do? My power now is very, very different from the old days how I trained along. I have evolved a little bit too as well. So for me, my hands are like that, but I'm flick. Boom. You see how fast my hand is? But when I hit something, it bounces off. So when I go boom, the hand's not going to come back. So because I don't want to play bridge hand with him, I just want to bounce this off, whack. That's it, finish, game over. Why do I have to do all these things and I bridge and I'll go on top of you and I'll go and I'll, you know, those bridge hands we used to play. They work with somebody to play bridge with you.
It's a method. It's not a drill. Is not the fight. It's a attribute to add to a fight, right? So if you're doing sticky hands, chi sao, toy sao, any of that, it's only for that split second that when you've touched, boom, you've counted with elbows or whatever. It shouldn't be the guy punching you, turns out this, and block it. It's not the way trapping should be, in my honest opinion. A technique like a trap would only occur off against a guy going to push you, not so much as it's a different energy.
Yeah, it's not clean trying to do this and you got Mutsal. Yeah, it works really well. But it has to be the right condition for that to work. But most people won't offer that condition for you, that environment for you to work like that. And in your mind, you think, I train all this thing, why can't I use it? You know, it's like, but it's an entirely different thing. It's not playing your game. That's the whole issue. So you got this attribute, but you only play that with people that want to play that game. They don't want to play that game. It's like this, all right? Okay, so I know people, few masters demonstrate their shot power like that, okay? All right, so the guy puts the bridge out there and he's shocking. Of course the bridge gonna fly. Because you're giving a very static bridge and you shock him, of course, you've got something to pull on, it's gonna look really good. But if you shock me, I'll just go like that, I circle the hand, where's the shock? It loses power. So when you talk about shock power, practical shock power, how do you actually use it? You know, like what technique do you use and when do you use it? You know, it's not because of the demonstration, you go, oh, like that, and I'll drag his hand forward. Like, no one's going to give the hand like that for you to drag forward. If you do drag him forward, he just headbutt you. Simple like that. You drag him forward, he headbutt you. Like, something you got to think about. I think a lot of people get really caught up about shock power and it's you know, you've got shock power, you can fight. But you still got to apply that shock power in the environment that, you know, your opponent might not give you that sort of advantage, you know, for you to do shock power. I just
especially if they're a mobile fighter, right? Shock power should be when surprised. Boom, straight to the ribs. Boom, just break the rib.
Yeah, it's a simulation, like a hot iron hits your hand like that, right? So you simulate that power, but then you got to apply that power to the context of what you're trying to do, right? And your opponent is going to allow you to do that. But you tell me the shock power. Well, you know, like I said, again, we talk about shock power, maybe it's a different interpretation. But you said that when you practice your one yun, right, on your burning palm, right, you hit the water, snap your palm in water, and all of a sudden you can see one of the clip that you mastered the water to boom, fly out the big bucket, right? Now, when you told me about shock power, I think maybe you hit somebody, they're in shock. So there's shock power. So it's a different interpretation of it. You know, maybe the old master said, when I hit somebody with a palm, with a cotton palm, and the guy goes into shock because he's transferring all the power in there. So that's shock power. Not necessarily you touch me and go like that. It's just shock power. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
exactly. There's shock power in the terms of just development, but the true shock power to me is when you hit someone like a palm, that pain spreads to where they get into shock. Like Sifu Connie, when I went to the One Yun to learn from him, because he was a boxing trolley fighter back in the day. And he said, I'll show you the difference. And he hit me arm with a trolley fat palm, knocked me across the room, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, now do the One Yun palm. And he went from nowhere, boom. And I did go in the shock. I started to shake. I got cold, and I had to sit down. I know it sounds like a pussy, but it was an internal strike that shut me down. And that's what shock power is. It stops the person before they can react again, because the pain and the nervous system shuts down to where they don't know what's going on for us.
Well, for many seconds they just shocked, and then that's how I see shock power too as well. You know, that when we talk about shock power, it's not necessarily just it's a simulation. Someone touches your arm and you pull back, and you know, and you try to simulate that. Look, the form, as far as I study, Yikap Sambo Jin, is to simulate the shock. I mean, Sifu Paul explained that in the video, but I don't see many people doing that. They actually can do 8 movements very fast, but there's some shock power in it.
Are they doing more as a 1, 2, 3?
Well, yeah. They do the shock movement. I don't see shock power. And also, how do you measure the shock power from those hands? Do they hit anything else and show you? If you've got a not very big heavy bag, just say that you got a 5 kilo or a 10 kilo bag, so that, and inside the bag are heavy, right? I'm talking about pebbles, iron shot, beans, whatever you're putting in there, and you put your hand at that, and you're gonna do short distance, 3 inch, you go boom, and that bag bounces off 1/2 meter on that side. You're able to move it. Then I can see you got shock power, because you shocked it really fast, and that bag just went boom like that, and that bag is very heavy. And then like some people tell me, look, I don't want to name the guys who tell me all of this, right? He said, I tap, and the bag shakes a little bit. The chi is inside the bag. I'm going, really? Really? I don't believe that. Oh, yeah, you can hear the sound when you hit it, and the sound sounds different, you know? This master hits it, and you can hear the sound different. It's just the way he hits his angle. Like, if you want to make the bag shake, you hit at an angle down there. Of course, you hit the force is going in an angle of 45 this way. Of course, it shakes a little bit, but is that really the shock power? I don't think so.
Is it really going to do damage? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, And how do you measure that? Look, I mean, one of the guys from the States, right, said to me, Sifu John, you know, they bloody hate you, you know, because you're a bit more scientific than anything. I was looking on net, looking for a shock, a device to measure the shock, right? They put inside this bag, and I would take this bag physically to the master and hang it up. You hit it, and I'll extract that shock, that, you know, like a seismic thing, you know, measure the shock and see how much shock's going to be naturally in the bag. Then we know there's no lies. It's all scientific data.
Just say, for instance, you've got those boxing things where they hit it and it tells you how many pounds per square inch or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Gives you a reading. Now that would be perfect to test your shock power. If you're not getting close to a boxer's punch off that, and we all believe that the short shock power should have that type of force, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just a flick. Otherwise, I can parry. I don't need to learn all this shock power if I can parry someone and just with a little tap it sends the arm away.
Arms away, then you don't need to do all of this forms and all this other.
So for me, if you're doing short power, that short power has got to be able to do as much damage as a normal strike.
Exactly, because what you got the victor, and you got the distance to you know to get that power through, and it's kind of wide. Yeah, like it's like doing a big pack cell to a small pack cell, you know, like a little circle, big circle, you know, or a small hammer fist or to the big hammer fist, you know, which one's going to do more damage? Of course, the one with the big distance going to get it because the momentum, the weight, you know, your body move into it, and of course you're going to get damage. But if you say, I'll do a little movement, is it going to equal the same sort of power with those long range, you know, hit? Is maybe not, you know, like I don't see anybody can demonstrate that in front of me and convince me otherwise, you know. So I'm still waiting. Someone can just show that in front of me, or hit one of those apparatus or those game things that they hit it, and see how many pounds they got. Like how many pounds when you actually hit something that registers, you know, I can hit this and it's going to register like 10 kilo, 20 kilo pounds or so. I don't know what you call the measurements, yeah. But like it's one of those amusement parties, see the people punching it, you know, and you know, some are really hard hitters, you know. So
they're over 1,000 pounds of force.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm not into that sort of thing, but I would, like you just mentioned to me, that is perfect apparatus to measure the type of power that you exert out from your hands.
Yeah, I'd love to have one of them and try the short boom hammer and see if I can get as much power rather than a big bin choy, just a short, and try to bang and get that same power. And that's refinement of Ging. Just like when I pick a coconut from a short distance, with the breath, and then the body's coiled and right. I need to try to get that same power without trying to smash it like that. That's a refinement that takes a long time.
And the thing is that with this sort of equipment that's available, that you can measure your progress, right? You know, you might not be very good at the first 3 months, but then after 4 or 5 months, you'd be bloody awesome. You know, because you know there's a reading there. Oh wow, I increased it so much. You know, so it help your training, and I mean using different equipment to train to help you. You know, I mean, why did Bruce Lee get this stream to well all these equipment that you can't buy in the street, buy in the gym? He wanted the specific type of for different reasons. You know, that he trains
Bruce Lee had a 300-pound bag, just like a big boxing bag that weighs so much that you can't send it flying, but over time it builds that power and the whole body connectivity to when you do hit someone that's lighter, they're gonna fly, right? They're gonna feel that. So that's why boxing gyms have heavy bags and they got light bags, they got speed balls, they got timing floor ceiling balls as well. So there's science behind punching to develop one punch, one for speed, one for reflex, one for heavy bag, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how they get good.
Yeah, and you know, they're getting better and better. That's why you see the boxing matches or the the MMA matches. You see all these new fighters. They can actually they got shot power. They got short power. The power is quite they can do a jab and a cross. It doesn't have to be so telegraphic. I mean, when you start facing a person like this, a different animal. It's not the 70s. I'm going, oh, and you're going, and I'm going like that. It's not like that anymore. Like, I think when Joe Louis and all that started the Chuck Norris and the kickboxing in America, that was a revolution, really, because until then, still people were still standing on the stand and trying to kick and trying to punch, and so it's all like karate, fighting karate the way karate should be fought, right? But then next thing you know, they went to kickboxing and said, "Well, this is different because I move now," So they had evolved. I mean, now it's like they got even better and better. Or I was shocked to see some of the fights that they can do jab and cross such a small distance. They get such a power, bang, 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 and you can see when they, when you see Mike Tyson, that type of people that trains in the gym. I mean, they throw 400 or 500 different ways, and within less than a second or second, look at the power from the pad. Like bang, 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 bang. It's like they're all knockout punches. So you're dealing with a total different animal, So if you don't up your game in your kung fu, you're not even in the game, mate.
Well, especially like I said in our first one, a lot of kung fu, they don't move the head, right? It's got to keep level and body straight. That's another flaw. To me, that's another flaw, because in reality, if someone, just say for instance, all your life you've been training mantis, if something swings at you, what do? You get out the way. It's not just a punch. It could be a something falling from the shelf and you move. It's a reflex action, and if you're not building on just that, even body defense, head movement, expect to get hit. Even if you got the best strong bridge, you're going to get hit in a fight. It doesn't matter. And another thing, Benny the Jet Urquidez, right?
Yeah.
He proved against the Thai boxers. He beat Thai boxers as well.
Yeah.
Sifu John Subtle, my kickboxing teacher, did a demonstration fight with Benny the Jet back in the 80s. And he was Benny the Jet was one of his idols, he told me, He said, he gave me a tape, a VHS. He goes, watch all of Benny Urquidez's fights because this guy's awesome. And he actually got to fight Benny the Jet in a demonstration match. And Benny kept saying him, because I saw it, and he goes, hit me, But John Subtle was like in love, not in love, but respected him so much that he goes, oh my God, I'm in the ring with Benny the Jet,
Yeah.
And Benny's going, hit me, because he wanted the respect. But people like that, they're pioneers of the new era. Benny the Jet, Joe Louis, and Superfoot, Bill Wallace.
Bill Wallace.
Bill Wallace. I went to one of these seminars here in Australia back in the 80s.
He was like Bill Wallace is super kick, Superfoot, like this is phenomenal. And this, it's 80 something now is teaching how he moves, and then it's like this is how he moves, and there was a way that he gets into the song and whack you with a kick,
And he was like, he's good with both legs, but one leg he could smash it in any direction. You'll never get it.
You never get it because he had refined that kick, So if he was just following the tradition the old way and never really explore new ways, then he just stayed where he was, But he didn't. So all these people like Benny the Jet, John Suttles, and all these other Bill Wallace and Joe Louis and all these other fighters, they explore, a way of better themselves in the way they fight, I mean, look, I remember the Chuck Fay once and asked him about this, because when I went to see Chuck Fay, right, I was only a kid then, he was teaching karate, I said, why are you teaching karate? You're double dragon, He said, no, it's a karate, the way he was teaching kickboxing then, I said, mate, it worked. He said, no, this is just traditional, but someone punch like that, can you really just block like that? it's too fast, you know. So the outer block like that, it has to be, the guy has to stick his arm out like that, but it's not retrieving, and you're perfect fit. But if you just go like that, then it punches again, then you know you're slow, you know. So that's why we do kickboxing. I remember you told me that. That's why we do this kickboxing training. But you know, like when you go in there and you're thinking, I've got to learn traditional kung fu. Why don't I keep them kickboxing? But in fact, he's trying to tell you that those kickboxing moves actually work. It was a revolution that we didn't really understand. You know, we thought, okay, we'll just do kung fu. Why are we doing kickboxing? You know, but like it benefited you a lot, you know, because you know Yao Gong and you know kickboxing, and you can make the two work together and better yourself. Like anything is better than.
But you got to look at, okay, what does Tong Long have that is similar to normal fighting, as in kickboxing and boxing? What have they got for straight lines? What have they got for hooks? What have they got for uppercuts and overhands? And then you go through your forms, and then you go, oh, there's your straight line punches, right? There's you might have a Sao Choi, but you shorten that Sao Choi, right? Rather than big Sao Choi, just a small little boom. It's only an elbow bang like that, and it's over. Rather than here it comes.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't do my Jin Choi like that. You know, we do 1,000 times in a form.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna make people think about this. Okay. So I'm like that. I'm loose, right? I'm going boom, boom. Okay. All right. That's my jab. Okay. Now I'm doing my Jin Choi. It's always come back the elbow, predict the ribs. What is faster? What is faster? And if I want to change the angle, I can't change much of the angle because I'm always going to come back like that, right? But with the punch, right, I can go like that, like that, like that. Like the jab becomes half of uppercut. I mean, I can. It's so versatile, it's so natural. But we are talking like that, hit like that. So we move forward like a mantis and hit like that. And then when it hits the summit, we'll block with those out, you know. And so I never use this technique. I know it sounds crazy. I do this in the form 1,000 times, but I actually don't use it like that.
Mm. Yeah, well, same as you gotta adjust it to street or competition. You can't. What you do in forms is not always applicable when it comes to street. Like I said, a lot of power training in this. There's a lot of rib training, back training, all the different Ging, you know, that needs to be developed in these arts. And you got Fao Chung Tunto, like in Bat Mei, Yokumun, and you look at boxers when they're bobbing and weaving, and they're using that. Just say they go to a body shot, they got chum, and then they come back up, boom, they got the jab. So they got Fao Chum in boxing.
Yeah, they do. Fao Chum in boxing, yeah. it's just not the right head, yeah. They got Fao Chum. And there's people don't understand them. So, oh, you know, they're very simple. They're not simple. The technique might be simple, but the way that they apply it is not simple. There's a lot of angles, a lot of movement, head movement. They're not staying still. So, you know, the Tong Long, as far as I know, I never really used the Jin Choi. I just tell people that my weapon is my gaucho. The way I do it, pack out, pace out, box out, gaucho. And I remember long time ago when I first started Tong Long with Peter, he said he wanted to see some use 3-4 technique and won all this competition in Southeast Asia. I don't know who he's referring to, right? But years later, I taught a bunch of guys, right? And there was I think 19-year-old kid called Adam right? And he came with a friend and he said, my name's Adam, you know? And then one of his friends told me, oh, you know, his father used to do Tong Long too. I said, really? I said, what's his name? He said, his father is James So I went back to backtracking, you know, the information, you know, from the old days and Peter and all that. And I found out, oh, he's actually a brother of Dominic and Dominic and and James and there's a few doctor from Malaysia, Chinese Malaysian. They were training in the early days in Brisbane when that Ging came in and taught them this sort of stuff, and then evolved from there. So I went to see James and he said to me, John, there isn't that much techniques in Tong Long. The usable ones only 3 or 4. Like that's from the guy. Like when I met him, I was in my late 30s. He was like 50 or 60, something like that. I don't know. He just said there isn't that much techniques in Tong Long, but you only use 3 or 4 techniques for your bread and butter technique, and it worked. And so, but he was doing the same technique that I got taught, like the destructive technique. So you kill all that peso. He was into peso, and peso's got like most people think, oh, there's only one peso. You go, some will pay you. There's a few more peso in different angles. They haven't really explored on that. Look, there's Jing Pei, like Jing Pei coming in like that. All right, there's Che Pei. So Wang Pei, okay, sideline. You come in there, boom, like that. Okay, there's Che Pei down there.
Yeah, but see what you just did. See what you just did. You moved your body.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. Otherwise, you're stuck one dimension. Because
if you stand there and the kick comes in and hits you this way, it's giving a full impact. But if you move a little bit this way, it might still hit you, but the impact isn't there. You see, you're taking the impact off it because you're moving a different angle. Oh, I couldn't answer this. Sorry.
All right, it's okay. We'll take a break now, and we'll be
can
back.
Take a break.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we're back with Sifu John Lee on the Tower of Kung Fu podcast. We had a little break, and we'll get back onto the short power. And I think with all the different, even with Soy Kill, John.
Yeah.
There's like your Gal Choi where you detach. There's a short Soy Kill, middle range, and long range. I think all of them need to be trained to a high level. If we rely on smashing a bridge or destruction all the time, a lot of students get so comfortable of, oh, I've hit his arm, but they're not expecting the other hand to come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think let's touch on another subject, right? I didn't want to expand on that, but we're talking about peso and all that and different angles and all of that. And so in the form, the basic form, we only learn one peso, which is the Wang Pei, right? Which is a cross pei on the side, right? So, but when you do peso, you always have this hand up anyway, But a lot of Chinese kung fu tend to have the hands cover around the mid range, right, and not the head, right? So, do we go like that and punch like that, right? And you probably would do that if you're in the ring, right? And you hit somebody, he move, and the kick's already come in. You hit you, and the kick's already arrived. The kick's so fast now, and they're coming at you, and if your hands down, then you're going to get kicked, right? So a lot of the concept we learn in Kung Fu, a lot of the formula in Kung Fu, we kind of is in the mid-range, our hands cover. Now, when we're doing Fasao, right, when we learn about Fasao, we go one hand here, stuck here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we do the left hand, and then we do both hands, okay? Right, so if you train like that all the time in Fasao, okay, what's the other hand doing?
That will become too much of a bad habit.
Exactly, because what happened is that you would get lazy. We call lazy hands, right? But then you do 2 hands like that. You're attacking low to gotcha the pressure point down here. Then beauty, then fun kill, then wood sao, then dao sao, and then you're doing this, right? Do you actually do that in a real fight? You don't do that. So your technique has to be in Cantonese Gong form, okay? Method the two elements. Gong is to attack, Fong is to protect yourself at the same time, right? Gong form. So I don't do the facade anymore. I just do it my way. That I think is very, very. It's got the two elements in it, right? Gong form, okay? So I did play my facade the way I do it, both hand alternating. To a lot of people, to a few of the elders, you know, and the Zhao not Zhao people, especially one of the Zhuge people, seen my facade, and he bring me back and said, "Mate, this is fantastic stuff. How'd you do that?" I said, "Because it didn't sound logic to me, you know, because I learned all these forms, and when we got the facade, we've gone back to single hand and double hand. We weren't alternating our hands, and nothing like the other form that we were doing. So that made me think about the forms itself and how you actually interpret it, and taking the sansa out to actually test it against someone that punch really fast. How do you actually pull those techniques off? And if you can't, then you have to find a way of modifying it. Because if you don't, you're going to get hit anyway. I mean, do I do a pace out like that and like that, calf of the heart, because someone will punch you in the heart? Well, most of the time, people don't want to punch you in the heart. They just want to hit your head and hit the central computer and knock you out. And this is why that when I first learning the Tonglong from Malcolm, but not from Malcolm, from Peter, it's like that we're headhunters. I remember the first time he said to me, sitting down with Silye, it's like somebody said, "We're headhunters, John." That's why our hands are always up. We're not going to mid-range like that. We're not going to go like that. Our hands are always up because you have to protect yourself from these punches, from kicks and all of that. And when we go in to hit somebody, we rather hit the head and concentrate hitting the head, the neck, everything like that, rather than trying to hit the body. So that was the thing that he always tell me that we're headhunters.
I think a lot of Haka always stick on that mid-range, mid-gate.
Yeah.
And everything starts from the heart. There's a lot of power from here. I understand there's like your power source. Your deltoid as well. As soon as you start punching upwards, it's a different muscle group in the deltoids, right? But there's lots of power from the mid-range, mid-game out.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but again, that can become a bad habit. And a lot of people, Thai boxers, they can cop body punches pretty well, right? And if you have, even if you've got the Phoenix eye going to the heart,
the gay sun, right?
Yeah, right. Then it all depends on if you've trained that well enough to withstand a hard body.
Well, the thing is also he's moving as well. He can be 2 degrees out of that. The finish is not going to be that effective in the gay sun. But while you're doing that, in the gay sun with the Lui Feng Chui, your head's open. Your head. So for every attack, like I said, I learned this from Legal. For every attack, you got a sip wun. Sip wun means it's like you do business and you got a door that you're going to lose money. So every opening you're trying to hit, you're going to have a sip wun, and you have to try to narrow, close that sip wun, close that gap. So he's also another guy that inspired me a lot about Gong Form. The concept of Gong Form, okay, and not just train as you've been told. Like he was a very witty guy. Like old guy. And he obviously had some fight in his days.
Well, and obviously he's thought about it. That's the good thing, right? That's the start of any real warrior in the martial arts. Is you got to be able to pull apart these techniques and know what they're actually used for. You can't gokshao a hand that's coming so fast, but off a grab, you can gokshao that, right?
Yeah. Off a grab, you can gokshao. But you waiting for some punch and gokshao, and he just fake and boom, and so fast. I mean, I can do 3 punches like that, less than half a second. Like, if I do this all the time, bang, bang, banging, and by 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 80 pounds, 100 pounds from the punches, it's going to hurt you, you know. So it's very logical that, you know, it's how you train, it's how you fight. Like, I can't stress more on that. But the form looks beautiful. I know it does look beautiful. It's very nice to train. Very nice to train.
And this is probably the hardest thing for us as well, because we love the art so much. We know that it's important to have the forms, right? Because the forms give you all the techniques that the founder has worked on.
Worked on and put in a category that you can understand, that you can go progress on it, right? And I feel bloody guilty sometimes. I said, why don't just follow what I've been taught, you know, and why I'm changing all of that and discarding that. But you know, it's like you know, in Canada, it's you know, the constant battle inside your mind, you know, so I do this, not do that. So I do that, not do that. So then you sit around and say, I'm going to do what for me. Because what worked for somebody 300 years ago may not work for me right now. I need to deal with some different animals coming at me on the street, or you know, if I was younger in the ring, I have to think about like this, you know. So I have to change the way it's been used and applied, and the way we're training it. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just individualism. Your kung fu is your kung fu. So this is why that, you know, like I don't like people writing on coattails of the past masters. You know, oh, my Sifu can do this, my grandmaster can do this, and my Sifu used to sit on this board deal with all the masters, and he's famous, so I'm famous. Come on, man, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? You know the people that I'm talking about. You know, they all bring in all this stuff like that. Well, what about you? Can you do your kung fu good? Can you bring your kung fu up to the stage so that you can beat those anime guys? Even with the gloves, I don't care. Even in the ring with rules, you can beat them, then your kung fu is good. It's like Grandmaster Go always to say, hey, the proof is in the pudding. If it works, it's good kung fu. If it doesn't work, change it. Make it to be good kung fu. You know, that's logical. That's bloody logic. That's bloody logic. You know, why can't people can't see that? But because we're blinded by traditions and stuff like that, a lot of time, you know, we can't change what's been passed on to us.
And not only that, I think a lot of teachers are not fighters at heart, and therefore the forms, they don't understand a lot of those movements in a reality way, that it's not efficient in real fighting. In the class of one-step sparring, and they're doing this type of stuff, and you can block and punch and do all this, is not going to be in reality. So there's a difference between a fighter and an artist.
Yeah, you know, you can clearly see persons that does everything to the correct move. Everything hasn't been changed for the last 300 years. To me, they're collectors. The collectors of the thing, they don't want anything changed, and there's emotionally things attached to it too as well. My Sifu taught me that I don't want to change this anything that my Sifu taught me. You know, it's the respect for my Sifu and my grandmaster. I'm not going to change anything, so I'm going to stay the way it is. I'm going to teach the next generation the way it is. Then you get teachers like me and you say, "Hang on, we got a different animal that we're going to fight now. We have to change. We can't stay the same." It's like me, right? Okay, let's talk about not kung fu. Okay, let's put this in perspective. I'm a stone polisher. Okay, years ago they used the old Italian Casani machine. They were heavy. They were using silicon carbide to grind the floor. And I don't remember the Italians, because you know they used to do this work, marble polishing and grinding. They used to charge a lot of money, you know. And then came later on, a few group of people said, now we're going to use diamond, we're going to use planetary machine. And then they brought it to the next stage. And those guys with the Casani machine, they weren't making any more business. They were too slow. This is getting much better. And now we've got remote control, AI control machines that I don't know how to push the bloody thing. It's programming with joystick. So you see how far the human race, you know, with the knowledge and everything like that, they had advanced. But we are chosen to be staying the way we were 300 years ago. You think about it. I don't know. To me, I'm just one of those guys that looking for advancement all the time. or wisdom, but new advancement. You know, I think, okay, they do this way, they do that way. Like a lot of things, I asked a lot of master about deep math and all this stuff like that. Really, are you kidding yourself? Like the old days when you hit somebody deep math and they say, oh shit, I got, hit this pawn and I'm gonna, there's a certain day, certain time, and I had to use the medicine or hit again to release the pressure pawn. Otherwise, I would, my heart would start to get very weak, or my kidney and livers, all internal organs kind of go haywire, and I would die. Okay, so I need a master to release me. So that may happen one or two cases long time ago, and maybe this master actually use that to heal, right? But this day, you're going to use this, going to hit somebody, who's going to let you stand there? You demark him. Then you're going to release him. How many people are going to stand in front of you and you're going to do that to that person? Seriously, like, yeah. So it's a kind of like, it's a knowledge, okay? It's a knowledge, but you're not going to bloody use it. You're not going to use it. And if you use it, can you actually hit the pawn? Like, I spoke to one of the guy in USA Zhuklam about Lam Sang, right? And Lam Sang, they all, they do the Phoenix Fist and the Deep Map. And this senior guy told me that he talked to his Sifu, and he said, Sifu, that Lam Sang would say, not all the time you hit it, you get the pawn. You just get close enough to it and see the effects of it. But, like somebody will say to you, I hit the cock cheat and I hit this and I hit that and we have an effect on that. And you're going to do 2 to 3 hits correctly at the right time, right day, right hour, right minute, right second to affect this person. Man, that's a lot to ask. I just think that it's like to me, it's sort of like a very difficult task, almost like a fantasy, okay? But if you hit somebody with a punch in the head, it's going to go down anyway. So
that's right. And Dim-Mak type of striking uses too much medical theory, right? 5 elements, yin yang. Hit here, fire burns metal, metal chops wood. Big as a fuck in real life. I'm gonna try and get me job done and get out of there fast. I don't know what you're gonna throw at me, right? So I'm not gonna be waiting for this opportunity. I got to set something up, hit you in the throat, poke you in the eye, kick you in the nuts. Then I can finish you off or take off myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like to me, it's very strange. The people that teach you this sort of stuff like that, like they hit the guy and the guy goes down and it revive him, rub his back, and then I mean, how many times can you hit the person until you start to affect them? And would it be stupid enough for you to test on them? You're a test dummy. You want your student to be a test dummy. You hit them and then you revive them just for your own sake, your knowledge, right? Oh, I read this book. It does. I got passed by the grandmaster. It does work like that. I'm going to use him to hit him. Like there's a moral obligation as well in today's world. You can't keep doing that to a person, and if you can't do that to a person, how can you know that Dim-Mak's going to bloody work? It could be off for a day or the hours different. I know it's nothing with the tide in the ocean or that. We all
if that's the case, boxers are the best Dim-Mak fighters because they can do liver 13, liver punch, right? They just aim for the liver and they still knock you out.
Yeah.
They still hit you in the head, they knock you out. They still hit your jaw, break your jaw. Right? So
exactly.
They've never sat there and studied the sums up look, Sayut points. They haven't sat there and studying all this fucking rubbish when it's medical, right? It's like, okay, I've been hit here. Okay, then you can go to your acupuncture or the Dim-Mak chart and know exactly what you can be using for treatment.
And the herbs and all
that, right? For treatment, right?
But it's like, I don't see in one case out of 1,000 you're going to get hit like that. Like seriously, how many people heard it? Like I heard the odd story or got hit and he healed them, but there's no fact check. There's no fact check that it's actually happened. Like you think about all of this, is you really got to test on people. It's like the old days, the Japanese is sometimes just atrocious, right? In the war in China, the Nanjing massacre, it's about body, it's cutting open to see what's inside the body, how the body works. I mean, you've got to really sacrifice people to to knowledge your dim mat. You know, you got to do some damage to people to find out if that actually worked in the book. Like
I think could have it been possible that they've used prisoners to test out their dim mag? So they might be tied up, and they go, "Okay, I'm going to fucking punch him right in the sternum, or I'm going to do this," and test their skills that way. That wise, do you reckon that could have been?
That could happen because why not? They used to inject different substances and chemicals into the Chinese prisoners, see how they react. You know, like there's a lot of atrocious stuff that happened to in the war. How would they I mean, the Japanese know dim matches as much as the Chinese. Why would they test on a Chinese prisoner? You know, in the war. I mean, they kill some.
And what about people that are on drugs? Because sometimes the pain tolerance is completely different. I've always had to deal with ice addicts at the hospital. So putting on restraints and that, these people don't feel a lot of pain. And it's such a hard topic, this dim mat, because it's such a big seller, right? Everyone wants that mystical type of, I can finish him in one strike, but you've got boxers that have fought in the ring and they've killed people with gloves on.
Yeah.
People have died in boxing matches. Even
Yeah.
to this day, there's been deaths. So they obviously got better Ging than most kung fu guys to be able to transfer through a glove and still kill a guy in the ring.
Exactly. And look, I think we saw enough clips online, you know, and I don't think all those are fake masters. They must have went up there to try to demat on his fighters, and it didn't work, okay? Because they weren't standing still. Maybe they were still and they said, "You stand there, you don't move, I hit you a few times and you will go down," and probably it would work. But when they're moving, they're resistant, their bodies all pump up, it's hard to get into your like. Like I said, if you do your ginger fist like that and you close it, your kukti palm, the kukti is closed, or partially closed. So when you hit me on here with a palm or phoenix, it won't numb my arm that fast, okay? If you use a phoenix, maybe not so close. That's why we use ginger. But then you trade off your ginger to the phoenix, right? So, but how easy to hit this when my arms are moving? It's very hard to hit this. When I'm moving, punching you, you're trying to hit this, and you're trying to hit the pawn, but he's already hitting your head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why are you chasing the arm?
Yeah, you're tracing a needle thing, a needle pawn that is so small to get effectiveness, but he already hit you because your target's so bloody big he can hit you. He's gonna get you first before you get anything done, right? So logically, it doesn't bloody work. That's just my opinion. You know, I can't. Like I got a lot of people come to me a lot my students, you know, in the early days, ask me all this, and I couldn't answer them. I said, I don't know how to answer you. You know, I can't do it like that. I mean,
well, it's easy to grab someone's wrist and go whack and knock them out on the.
And then knock them down, and you try to revive them on those pawns. But the thing is that they're not.
But he's allowing that for you to demonstrate. If you got a boxer doing this and he's closed off his Guk G with his elbows in, you're never going to get Guk G.
No, you never get Guk G. And the thing is that if your student allow you to do that, your conscience as a Sifu, you know, what about you hit him so many times, his later life is going to have all this health issue, and you caused it.
Yeah.
You're the Sifu who's supposed to build him up so he can protect himself, and you're actually damaging his body for your own sake. Now, how could you limit yourself? It's a conscience thing. You know, like,
and you don't know what the other person's internal health is like already.
I mean, I think for last month or something like that, I think one of my students, Gordon, you know, is part of UTS. He wanted to do a seminar, and you know, before he even got in there, I wrote a thing and said, if you got health issue, ring me. You know, let me know. You know, if you've got any other old injury, let me know. So I know as a trainer to get what sort of exercise to do. It's not gonna, if you can't, if you got a problem with the back, I'm not gonna give you those exercises. I'd rather you do something else. So I need to know.
It's got to be responsible.
As a responsible teacher, you need to know.
Yeah, responsible teaching is always first
you have to. And this day, people still think that you can go into a group and trash somebody's bloody business. That's crazy too. That's really crazy, because this day, like we're just gonna touch on our subject. You know why a lot of the gun are closed? Because insurance is so bloody expensive. In my days is that when we got the Sport Australia, accreditation with Royal Missingham and all of that, everyone got gone into that bloody thing. And I went to the insurance people, I got this accreditation coaching and number one from Royal Missingham, and I spent $300, $400, $500. So the insurance guy said, no, well, that doesn't make any difference. I'm just going to charge you $2,000 for public liability insurance for the hall. Then you got to pay your each player insurance of $50 a year, and then it'll all end up like $3,500 for me to start hiring a hall. I don't even own the bloody hall, right? And this is in the 2000 onward, right? Before that, I don't know when Peter hired the hall, they had all this restriction. Nowadays, you got a lot of things, they don't want to hire the hall to you. So a lot of people think that, you're coming into my group and you're going to challenge me and you're going to break my arm and damage all my students. Mate, it's on bloody CCTV camera. Go ahead and do it. I'll sue the bloody ass off you. You know what I'm saying? So let's get real. If you want to really challenge people, go to the UFC. Go and face some real fight. Simple.
That's the bottom line. If you want to go and fight, go into competition. I keep saying it. You can't be going around to different schools and bashing up people that are lesser level and being a bully. That's a cat. That's a rat. Yeah.
That's a rat, Joe. And stand wide dangers too. What happens? You get to a person that is weak, but it's part of the tribe. Think about it. You're in the light, they're in the dark. Think about it. It's not that easy, like, got to be very sensible. We're teaching martial arts. We're not gangsters and all of that. We are just teaching martial art. And if you don't want to test your martial art, go to the UFC, make your school proud. Even fight any rules, you still can come on top, mate. You're doing really well. Why not? Like Sifu Gary, you and I, when we see those clips in the Jerry puts it up in the fight commentary, and it's like, it makes Kuchari's look so bad. And it's like, we laughed about, but deep down we say, shit, why can't any of this guy win, for once?
I know. For once.
For once. And then you got, and the problem is that it's not even white guy criticizing Chinese master. It's the Chinese new generation criticizing them. This is all bloody useless. This Chinese martial art traditional stuff is too old fat. But there's good stuff in Chinese martial art. It just hasn't been trained properly for this condition, And so we're trying to explain to them, but we're struggling a little bit, aren't we?
Exactly. And if you go, okay, who wants to go and fight in competition? Right? Just say you're in your Mulgun and you say, who wants to go and fight in competition?
I'm going to put their hands up.
I do, Sifu. Okay. What are we going to do to get you to that level for the competition? Oh, we're going to do Saping Ma. We're going to big bow up and down the fucking school. We're going to do Dam Sing, wooden dummy. I would do 10 forms and weapons and Chai Sao. You're doing everything but fighting.
Fighting, yeah. Which is what you want to get. You want to get into real things, to deal with the issue that you got to fight in 2 months' time. We have to build you up to a level that is, we even got to watch the video of the other fighters.
Yeah.
What is the advantage of him? We're going to study it. As coaches, we have to study that. Like people
normal,
think that
like normal people do. Normal fighters will study their opponent.
Yes.
Their coaches will give them a game plan, a health plan. a diet, a strength workout, a pad workout. It's
Yeah.
professional, but not kung fu. We got to stay strong.
And go up there and you know, this it's two different fantasy. Like I don't know what they're thinking, but you know, like going into seeing, you know, the fight team and all that, you know, because one of my students MMA and seeing the completeness of teachers and coaches that put them together, you know, nutritionalists, you know, the person that help them massage, help them recover, there's people helping to train, you know, so they can be their
yeah, even therapists for the mind, like
yeah.
they got so much. It's you got to go into a professional attitude.
It's professional. It's not just one person. I learned from you, Sifu, I'm going to go in there and fight and win. It's not like that. It's far from that, you know. And people got to understand that that's professionalism. They're getting very professional, you know. And it's like, you know, it's like I used to play in a band. You got roadies, sound guys, lighting guy, engineer guy. You got PR managers. You got people that book the venue for us. You got dancers and stuff like that. I was still playing the guitar in the band. I didn't even think about all of these people actually put this together, and then a show, you know, and then we got to sell tickets and stuff like that. You know, like this. There's a lot of things go behind to put this person on the front stage. You know, like. It's almost mind-boggling, but they do. They put it all there, and you know the money is there. Like, you know, you tell me, you know, people go to Grandmaster, put the big red packet, and we want to learn this form and all that. It's all about money, isn't it? You think about it, the other day, I need to make a living on my kung fu. I need to pay the school fee, you know. Otherwise, there's no school. I got to pay rent. I got to, you know, 燈油火蠟 in Chinese, you know, the electricity, the water, everything like that they all cost money. So I have to charge you money. That's fair. It's a trade, right? Yeah. But if I want to teach you more extra, it's from my heart, because I know you're a good student. I want you to be better than me, representing me. If every generation that's lower, then you got no show. The whole thing is all BS. You know, you want the student to be better than you, because when you get older, you're not going to be faster and stronger than the student. They're going to be the ones going to take over, and you want them in the best conditions. So it's just like there's so much money in the UFC. You don't have to do all these other things and stress through our school. Just go to the UFC and win that money.
Yeah,
you don't have time for
kung fu politics, man. Makes me sick.
You don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like for instance, say, right, I got a student now that won the UFC. It's a $10 million deal. He's going to give me a couple $1 million. You think I have time to go on the internet and talk about bullshit and how big my school is and how good I train for? I'm not going to have time for that. I've got $2 million. I'm going to enjoy my life. You know, people got to get real about that. So their mind frame, you know, like, you know, those guys in UFC, they have different mind frame. You know, they're not like, you know, worry about a few $100s in red packet. They're not worried about that sort of stuff. It's too little for them. Peanuts. Come on, small business, petty. You know. So, but because we enjoy our art, we want our art to be flourishing. We want changes, and you know, and it takes a lot of courage to change things. It takes a lot of courage, you know, because you say that.
I remember you saying that a certain forum, a lot of the Chinese are making fun of kung fu in China. Yeah. They're going more towards BJJ or MMA and Sanda, because these old arts are not that they're not effective. They're not training it to be effective for combat.
Yeah.
It's just the art. We got to pass it on. It's like, oh shit, I've got this overhang. I got to teach Yolkamun to pass it all on, or I've disrespected Sifu.
Yeah.
It's like it's a big burden to carry.
Especially a lot of forms.
Right.
You know, how much time do you got to teach them, and how much can you retain? You know, you'd be very dedicated to retain a lot of forms. You know, I don't know. To me, I only know maybe most about 28 forms now, mantas, maybe 26. I only practice 3 or 4 that I like. I forgot most of the stuff. it might come back to me in memory, but the reason why I don't practice it because I don't find that it's fit me at all. Like I'm a different fighters, when I was young and older, I'm different again. So you think about all of this stuff, but there's a lot of burden to carry. You've got weapons and the medicine, and there's a lot of I'm not even talking to when you're talking to Sifu Gen right? He's retaining all of that. And I respect that. I respect a lot of people that do that. I've got friends that actually they don't nothing change. They want the way it is been taught. I respect that, but don't expect me to do it. I won't do that. I like to streamline things, and I want to do things that is practical, is applied properly. And try to keep that Tonglong flavor there. I'm not trying to lose it. I'm making it to an entirely different thing. I'm not like that. I'm adding on. I'm making it efficient. So okay, people might not agree with me. I said, I don't think your hand's efficient. Well, that's good. Show me your hand. Maybe I can learn something from you. You're efficient. Show me. But if you can't prove to me you're efficient, then maybe you should look deeper and say, look, I could have changed. Because if you don't, it's really, if you shouldn't get hit constantly, there's something wrong. You have to change your hands. You can't just, in this hum term, crash your head against the wall, and not changing. Everything's changed. I mean, in my industry, what I do is change a lot. The building industry, in the music industry, it's changed a lot as well. In the information age, it's crazy. Like kids can play guitar better than Slash at the moment. They're 13, 14, they make me sick looking at them, but they got all the time they want to practice. And it's like people with kung fu. Some kids are 13, 14-year-old in China, they can kick, you can punch, you can do a lot of stuff. And we're thinking, oh, we've got to put them in a cage and say, like boxers, you got to do this. You can't go outside this. We can't do that to kids anymore.
No.
You want your art to advance, you have to modify, you got to change. It's no question about it. Otherwise, we just left behind. Like the kids in China, they just laughed at all of this. They laughed at none of the traditional master can win anything, let alone try to excel on the art and show them, oh, we can go all this competition, we're still winning it. On the street, we're still winning it. In the local, we're still winning it. We can't show any of this, and so it's kind of sad for me too, because I'm in the age that. In my 60s, I've seen big changes since I was like a kid, 13, 14, how the worlds have changed, technology-wise and all that. And I think my generation's seen the most.
Well, even in Taoism, it's all about change, right?
Yeah, it's all about change. And look, I think that, like the old days, I went back to, I went to China, and you got those roadside market in China, and you see all these weapons they got, they might duck it from the graves, they stole from the grave and they put it out there, and you say, oh, should I buy this? Go through custom, and this is gold, which is, this is Chinese treasure for the government. I can get locked up by the, communist Chinese, police, and you're thinking, should I get that? So anyway, I looked at a few swords and all of that, and it's like they're from the Tang Dynasty or something, or Song Dynasty, and definitely not Qing, And you say, shit, how could the sword look like that? Looks so, like, not so beautiful, like not so stylish, And they thought, oh, this is actually combat. This is how they use in the combat field, They didn't need it to be it has to be heavy, it has to be bold, it has to take the, the weight of the attack or something else, guando or something like that. In other words, able to block it off, and it wasn't just flimsy thing that we see in the shop, So yeah, so if you go back and study those old pictures and old weapon on the side on the roadside, you see, wow, it does change. Like you may go to Daipang village, I saw the butterfly sword, right, or Seongdo, and they were pointy, they were like I would say 60 centimeters long, the blade, right, sharp and both like that. And I'm going, how come it's so different to do, the modern butterfly swords like that, when you got the handle right accept the same level as a blade, and you can flip them over. Okay, and I thought, they actually don't bloody flip this thing over. They actually, got the reach, the jab, they stab you. That's it. And they were fighting the Portuguese and all the Europeans that invaded China. 20 nations invaded Beijing, and the Portuguese and the Dutch and the English and all that. They're all coming in there, and Chinese had to fight them off. They got guns and that, and Chinese used a sword, and they'll not use a short butterfly sword and roll around the floor and try to chop the leg off. Jeez, come on, give me a break. You can see all the mural on the wall, how they were fighting all these European invaders that are coming on a big ship and coming into land, and they're fighting one another. You can see those pictures. And
do you know that the American soldiers had a butterfly knife with the whole thing when they were doing back? Geez, I forget what war it was when the English came over.
Yeah.
That war. You see some of their old Bowie knives, exactly with the guard and all.
Yeah.
Just like the Wu-Tip though,
Yeah, they don't, and then they got the guard. You know why they got the guard? They're more advanced now because they know they get cut, a stop cut, right? And finger, you drop the sword. So they had the guard there. So when I went to Lansdowne and showed me a few of these things, it's the advancement of human ingenuity. Like it must have tried something. Oh, we better protect the head, So it's all come with experience in the combat. They start changing their weapons, But when we get to the modern thing, was we